So I'm borrowing the idea of reflecting through doing a KWL, graphic organizer about your thinking. Many of you might be familiar with this if you've taught in the past, that this idea of asking learners to define what they already know about a topic, what they're interested in learning about that, and then finally, once they've done the learning, to reflect back on this. And Silvio Tolosano has sort of bumped that up with this extended chart. So not only are we asking learners to sort of tap into their prior knowledge about what they know already, what they are interested in learning, but also this idea of how do they find out, first of all, where do they go to find the resources that they need to answer those questions, reflect on what they've learned, but then take some actionable steps about what they've learned, and then what other new questions have been generated. So I'm going to ask you to be thinking about that as you move through these 14 weeks together around assessment technologies and those intersections. And the way I'm going to ask you to do that, in part, is to come to Padlet at padlet.com and create an account. They're free accounts, and I believe you get up to 9 Padlets for free before you have to upgrade. So you'll see that I have 3 here, and I've got one that's an example of what I'd like you to make. I'll show you the example, and then I'll walk you through the process of making the Padlet. So if I go ahead and open that Padlet again, Padlet's basically just a background where you can add any kind of image that you'd like. So you'll see that I took Tolosano's graphic organizer and just added that as an image behind in that backdrop. And I made the Padlet so that it has each one of these categories. You'll see the what do I know, what do I want to know, and it goes continuous through that. What you'll see with that is if I want to go ahead and add something here, underneath this, in order to add a sticky note in these columns, all I have to do is hit the plus button here. And so when I go ahead and do that, I can start to write a title and then add some of my thinking in this way. I also want you to notice that you can add links out here. You can search directly in Google for what you'd like. You can add images and take a photo in this very moment. And there's some extensions too. So it's not just as if this is a virtual post-it note. It actually extends out to being able to link out to other things as well. So it can be pretty versatile, but I really do like this organization in the way that it's set up in this way that you can follow these categories. So let me show you how I did that. So I clicked Make a New Padlet. And instead of starting with a blank, I came down here and I was interested in creating the shelf. Is that true? Let me just double check. Oh, no, yes, the shelf. There is a KWL chart, but it's limited to just those 3. So I selected the shelf as a template. And then it gives you just this sort of generated background. But when you come on over here, this is where you start to modify the shelf. So you can name it whatever you'd like. My assessment. There we go. Come on down here in terms of I can change the wallpaper in the background. What I ended up doing was going out and clicking on Add My Own, and I took a screenshot of Tolosano's graphic organizer and just put that in the background. You don't have to do that at all. You can add your own image. You can keep it whatever color it happens to be, or you can find some of these templates if you'd like to go ahead and use. It really doesn't matter at all. I'm just going to grab that clementine. Let's put it like that. Then I go back because I've got that wallpaper there, and I'm going to continue going down here to set this up. I'm not that interested in worrying about the color or the font style. I can skip past all of these right now as well, but I do have the address for the Padlet right here. We're going to want to be able to share that because I'm going to ask you to share that Padlet with me. But for now, we're fine with just giving it a title on the wallpaper. Click Next, and then it's going to talk to you about different sort of privacy ways to be able to share, or if you need to add contributors. And you don't necessarily have to do that. We just want to be able to make sure that once you've got your Padlet created, that you can submit that to me. And so, actually, I think what I'm going to ask you to do is to submit it to me here instead of doing it as an assignment on Blackboard. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my email address. And so I'm not necessarily going to contribute to that, but that'll be a pretty fast and quick way, I think, for you to be able to have me be get ready access to that. I believe at that point you can just close that. And I'll close that here. And you'll see that you have your first column, and you can name that what I want to know. And then you just keep adding columns that way. And then you can drag and drop the columns. So you'll be following that extended KWL chart where you'll be having each one of these categories. I'm going to suggest that you could skip the how do I find that out? But if you'd like to do that, you can. Part of the way that you're going to find that out is through the collaboration in this course. But again, you'll have each one of these categories. You'll come back in and add the new column once you've typed that in. And then when you want to start adding the sticky notes stacked up underneath those, you can go right ahead and do that there. Good luck.